Our next speaker has made the Commonwealth a leader in financial literacy. Thanks to her efforts, Kentucky is one of 23 states that require students to take personal finance to graduate and one of 4 states to have a financial empowerment commission. Please welcome Kentucky Treasurer Allison Ball.
Good morning. Well, I get to talk about one of my favorite topics today, and it's one that I hope that you'll be excited about and you'll be interested in too as I talk about it. And I have opportunities for you in this area. So this isn't just listening to me talk. You're going to have some options for you. You're going to have some opportunities in this area. And you just heard it's about financial literacy. And if you know me at all, you know I'm the treasurer. I'm the watchdog of taxpayer dollars. And one of the things that I care about deeply is making sure people know what to do with their money, how to be good with their finances. I come from personal experience knowing why this is important. My grandparents are part of that greatest generation. I just lost them about 2 months ago. Both of them just passed away 13 days from each other. And they were part of that unbelievable greatest generation that grew up in the Great Depression, that fought in World War II, that are tremendous heroes, and they knew how to stretch a dollar every which way. That's one of the things we talked about at my papaw's funeral was how unbelievably good he was with money. But they were also a part of that generation that did not really recognize that you were supposed to pass that on to the next generation. They learned those things the hard way. They knew it through life, and they lived that way all their lives. But my dad, my mom, they didn't really get those nuts and bolts lessons, and both of them were highly educated people. My dad went to work on his PhD. My mom was a school teacher, and they have told me that when they came to be adults, they were terrible with money. Didn't know a thing, weren't good at it at all in any way whatsoever. And my dad's told me that when I was born, they had to sell the hubcaps off their car to buy diapers for me. Like, this was the level they were at. And there was a blue-collar millionaire who built his own business, learned money the hard way, who took pity on my mom and dad. And he took them aside and he said, listen, I'm going to teach you all some good things about money because you are terrible at it. And I remember my dad telling me that he spent an evening with this man, Dexter Yeager, at one point, and he came back to my mom and he was like, he just told me all this and I'm not going to do any of it. My mom says, you're crazy. He knows what he's doing. He's actually been successful at this. And so that was a key moment in my parents' lives. So they then wanted to make sure that it was passed on to me. And like I said, this is a hot button for me. I practiced bankruptcy law before treasurer, and I really got to see, just like my mom and dad, people usually don't take the time to teach the next generation, to teach people these tools. And if you don't know these things early on, you're going to get yourself in trouble. You're probably going to make some mistakes. So I believe in this. And I'll tell you real quick, some of you have heard me say this before, but I want to tell you why this is of personal interest to me. You've heard about my family and why they believed it was important. But my mom and dad wanted to make sure I learned these lessons right away as a young person. So they gave me an allowance to teach me these lessons. And they thought, this is great. Allison will learn how to save and she'll be good with her money. But I did not do that at all. I did the exact opposite because the money came in, and so I spent it right away, and I just didn't value it. And I remember my parents watched me on this, and some of you have heard me talk about this before. My parents decided to stop giving me an allowance because they said it was backfiring. It wasn't working at all. And this is what they said to me. They said, Allison, you're turning into a socialist. So I had a little poli-sci lesson in that moment as a 9-year-old, and I started my own business out of that experience because I realized my parents weren't going to pay me any money anymore. And if I was going to be able to buy video games or do whatever I wanted, I'd have to figure out some way to get some income. So as a 9-year-old, I started Positive Pencils International. I was thinking a worldwide company, and I sold pencils that were 25 cents each or $4 for $1. It was a great deal. And you've heard me talk about it before. I sold my pencils to everyone I could, and at the end of my first week, I made $200. And it was a huge, groundbreaking, foundational lesson for me because I learned the value of a dollar through that experience. I learned a lot of things through that experience, but I learned the value of a dollar because all of a sudden, everything that I paid for, I saw in terms of 25 cents. How many pencils does it take to buy this video game? So huge lesson for me. I became a great believer in saving. I became a believer in goal setting. I didn't want to spend money anymore because I knew how hard it was to get it. It was just a great lesson for me that I've kept my whole life. So as you know, when I became treasurer, I really wanted to do something in this area. Everybody knows that I deal with our state's finances, and that's true. But I also wanted to help people in their finances and their regular lives. And this impacts all of you. One of the first things that I did was I pushed to get a high school requirement passed for your graduation, and that is now the law of the land. This next class, the class that's a junior class next year when they're seniors, they're going to be the first class in Kentucky that's going to be required to have this as part of their training for school to graduate. And I believe this is going to have a generational impact. I'm excited about what this is going to do for the future. I think this was an important step that we needed to take. But I also launched something else. I launched the Kentucky Financial Empowerment Commission, and it's kind of a quasi-governmental agency. It's connected to the Treasury. It's run by a board. It can receive taxpayer dollars, but it can also receive funds from the private sector. And it makes sure resources are available to schools, but also to other groups. And one of those other groups is you, because that was one of the areas that I knew that there were resources and there were opportunities available for people who work in government, whatever level. If you were a state employee, you're a county appointee, you're an elected official at a county level, a city level, there are options available for you that are different for other people. And I think part of that is that you are public servants. And many of you have an income that's set. You don't really have opportunities to work harder and make more money. Not really. Your salary is set, and you're public servants. So there are things available to you. And I also want to be a great resource for you in how to stretch your personal money. I know what it's like to be a public servant, and you want to be good with your funds. So this is something that I have taken on seriously. There are several groups of our society that I focused on. Of course, students. I focused on people with disabilities, emerging adults. You're a college student, you're in the workforce, people of that area, aging Kentuckians. But I've also focused on people in the public sector, people like you. So last year, we launched something through the Kentucky Financial Empowerment Commission that I want you to know about. The first thing we launched is we focused on cities because it was easier for us to focus on a city. But we can do offices in a county. We can target it to whoever wants us to target. Right now, we've done 4 cities in Kentucky. We've done Independence, we've done Bellevue, Dayton, and Covington. So we focused on the northern Kentucky area as our test market, and it's gone extremely well. And we have done several weeks of classes on financial literacy in the evenings for employees of those cities. So we've helped folks that are city managers, who are clerks, who are firemen, who are policemen, who are sanitation workers, whatever the gambit. So you're somebody with a lot of responsibility and a high salary. You're an entry-level person who, you may only have a high school degree or a GED, and this is your profession that you've gotten into. Well, I have tools, I have tips, I have training, I have different resources available, whatever the level. And I'm excited about what that's been doing. So I want you to know about this, because your county, your office, you can sign up for one of these programs. We're still in early stages figuring out how we're going to do it all. I want all of Kentucky to get this, but we're doing this right now one at a time. We actually have the city of Bowling Green lined up. We have the city of Paris lined up next, and we're going back for a round 2 in the city of Independence because they have a whole new slew of police officers that want to have training on this. But I'm excited about this because, like I said, these are actual classes that are free for them. We're footing the bill for it. We're figuring out how to do it. But this is free for public sector. You are public servants. This is free for you. And it's all kinds of training. And it may be as basic as budgeting. It may be as basic as goal setting, or it may be as sophisticated as working with your mortgage and your loan and school payments, as well as your retirement. So we have a variety of topics. It's real nuts and bolts. It's real lessons. It's real concrete information for you. And I think this is a wonderful thing for you to know about. So if you want to take advantage of this, let me know. Like I said, I believe this has a direct impact into real life, and it improves the quality of the workforce of our public servants all over the Commonwealth of Kentucky. And I've had several people tell me this has had a real impact. I'll give you an example. We had a young policewoman, 22 years old, go-getter, real sharp in Independence, Kentucky, and she stayed late after every class. She asked a lot of questions. And by the end of it, she told us something that I thought was extremely insightful. She said she had in her mind the only thing she ever had to do was get a career. And she was ambitious and she was a hard worker. And she thought, okay, I want to be a police officer. This is my goal in life. And if I've got this, then I've got a salary and I am set. And I think this is the mindset for a lot of people. I just got to get a job, and I got to get that good job, and then I am set. I don't have to worry about my finances anymore. And those of us who have worked for a little bit, we know that it doesn't end there. You have financial decisions. You have things that happen to you in your life, and you've got to be ready for it. And she said this was incredibly eye-opening for her. She said for the first time in her life, she was thinking about her credit score and how that impacted so much of her life. And she said this was going to be a life-changing moment for her, and she'd already begun on doing what she needed to do to help her credit score to get her first car. She'd never actually taken out a loan for a car on her own. And this was going to be the first time that she'd ever done it. And she said it was actually taking the time to truly talk about this. I think somebody had signed her up for it. I'm not even sure it was her decision to come along, but this is what I believe can happen to so many people when they participate in something like this. So I'm excited. I think that's a wonderful example. We had another lady who said that her sister had for years tried to get her to do Dave Ramsey, and there's a lot of good that comes from Dave Ramsey. I know a lot of churches are a part of that, and I encourage, if your church is doing that, take a part of things like that, because it's been wonderful for so many people. But she said what she realized is that your finance is a little bit like a weight loss program, and there are different resources, there are different methods, there are different things that you can do. And she said being a part of this program exposed her to so many different tools, and she was so excited about what this was going to do for her life. So I know this is having a real impact. We actually had somebody too who was very close to retirement, and you would think at that point in your life you're set and you're done and there's nothing more that you can learn. And they came to us and said they were so excited for the future because they realized they could do better and do more, and they were going to be more prepared for their future because of what they learned in those few weeks. So I believe this is a great opportunity. I want to encourage you. Many of you have staff. Some of you don't. Some of you are, an elected official in your own right, and you don't have folks that are working with you. But this is a tremendous thing for your counties, for your offices. Take advantage of. I'm available to you for it. I believe it can make a big difference. It is a great value added. And I think right now we even feel our finances more than we have in the past. We keep seeing how inflation is rising. We don't need to read about it because we're living it. I read just yesterday that Thanksgiving dinner is 20% more money this year than it was last year. I went to the groceries yesterday. Many of you know I've got 2 small children. I got a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old. And we are having to really budget what we're doing at the grocery store because it's so expensive. I was telling one of my staffers, Matt, I said, bacon's $13. We're not buying bacon very much right now. If we get bacon, it is a huge, huge, huge treat. So when we're feeling the crunch even more than ever before because of inflation, all the more reason why we need to focus on being smarter with our money, do more with it, be better prepared. We can stretch our dollars a whole lot more. And that's one of the things that I can offer you as your state treasurer. It's one of the things that I'm thinking out for you and trying to add some value into your life because I believe it impacts the quality of your counties, your offices, and just who you are and your families. I'll tell you one more thing that I want to mention to you that is another resource. So we have these localized classes where we come in person and we teach you for a few weeks, and this is great, but it's not always the best option for everybody. And I have another option. I have an online program that you can take advantage of that is free for you. If you go to my website, which is treasury.ky.gov, if you go on there is a several course program. It's a good program. It's online, and you can take advantage of that too. And you can even get your office to do that one. These are not mutually exclusive. You can actually do both because there's different material covered in different things. But I want to encourage you, please take a look at that too. And I'm excited how we got that. Let me tell you a little bit of background on that. We actually applied for a grant from Wells Fargo last year, and we didn't get it because they said Kentucky was too far along. We were actually too advanced in our financial literacy, something that I'm proud of because we've done a lot while I've been in office, and we've become a national leader on it. And they said, no, we're not going to give you this opportunity for state workers because you're too good. You don't need to do this. And eventually they came back to us and they said, well, we actually need more people to participate. So if you're still interested, we're going to let you be a part of this program. So because I stuck with it and I pretty much stayed on the line with them long enough that they said, okay, we're going to let Kentucky be a part of this too. So this is a great opportunity that is available for all of us. It's through the treasurer's office, and you can go on and you can take a look at that. If you want to know a direct link to it, if you want to write this down, it's bit.ly/KY-Finlit, FINLIT. So great training, great lessons, great opportunities. Please take advantage of that. I don't know how long we will have opportunities to do things like this for free, but we've got it right now. And I want to make sure, while I'm in office, take advantage of it. Hopefully next year I'll be in the auditor's office. I can continue to be a watchdog and provide more opportunities for you. But while I'm in the treasurer's office, you've got that option, and I want to encourage you to take advantage of it. I think I've got maybe a minute and 29 seconds left. If there's a question about financial literacy or something else, please ask away. Thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate that. I really do believe that can have a generational impact, and we're all going to be better off as a state if we're focusing on this next generation. So thank you for saying that. Well, God bless you. I appreciate so much the work that you do. Many of you are great, great friends. Is there another question? Am I getting away? Okay, yes. I sure can. I'm going to give you the direct link, and if you go to my website, you can find it that way too. But the direct link is B as in boy, IT.ly/KY dash Finlit, FINLIT. If you go straight to that, that's the direct link to free training on financial literacy. It is also on the website. You'll just have to kind of look through it a little bit if you want to look at it that way. But it is available to you. Please take advantage of that. And I'll tell you too, if you feel that this is something you've learned a thing or two about, pass this on, because there are people who listen to you because you are leaders in your community, and you can make a big impact on people. If you're teaching a Sunday school class or something else, people respect you and you can make a difference on this. All right. Thank you very much. God bless you. Keep doing what you're doing. I am very proud of you and I love to be with you. Thank you very much.